Hello, my name's Nat. Let's see what's making news. If you got out of bed very, very early this morning, you might have noticed the moon was red. It was our first total lunar eclipse since 2022. Here's Tatenda to tell us more.
It's not every day you get to see the moon turn red, but people in parts of Australia and in places like China, Iran, Egypt and Kenya got to see the special event for themselves. It's called a total lunar eclipse, or a blood moon. Don't worry though, there isn't any blood involved. The moon actually gets its name from the deep reddish color it takes on during an eclipse, which happens when the sun, earth and moon line up. As the moon passes through the shadow of the earth, the sun's rays filter through Earth's atmosphere, bending and scattering the light and casting a reddish glow on the moon. Total lunar eclipses don't happen very often. This was Australia's first one in 3 years, so when they do come around, a lot of people get excited.
It's 4:02 a.m. Come with me on this journey of this blood moon.
The best thing is like you experience, you witness, that's the best thing.
It's also culturally important. Some people believe eclipse nights are sacred and the Earth's energy is multiplied and we can make wishes.
Everyone likes to look at the night sky, not just stars but planets and space. They inspire creativity.
US President Donald Trump is renaming the country's Department of Defense to the Department of War. Over the weekend, he signed an executive order to revert the department back to its original name that was ditched after World War II.
We decided to go woke and we changed the name to Department of Defense, so we're going Department of War.
Words matter. It's restoring, as you've guided us to, Mr. President, restoring the warrior ethos.
But the move has copped a bit of backlash, with some saying it's an unnecessary change and a waste of money. The US Open has come to an end, so here's Sass to tell us who's won big this weekend in the world of sport.
Back on top of the world.
Yep, Carlos Alcaraz has returned to the world #1 spot after defeating Jannik Sinner 6-2, 3-6, 6-1, 6-4 to win the men's US Open final. But he's not the only world #1 to come out with a W this weekend.
Aryna Sabalenka.
Yep, exactly. Aryna Sabalenka claims victory in the women's final in straight sets against Amanda Anisimova 6-3, 7-6. Over in the AFL, the Gold Coast Suns played their first ever finals match and secured their spot in the semi-finals. Taking on the Fremantle Dockers, it was a battle, and everything came down to this moment. Thought to be a goal, players prepared themselves for a big final push at centre bounce. But it was then found out to be touched on the mark, sending players back down to the goals and not giving Freo enough time to score. Finally to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Red Bull driver Max Verstappen came out on top.
Max Verstappen wins!
But a lot of the talk was actually about who placed second on the podium, after Aussie Oscar Piastri was asked to let his McLaren teammate Lando Norris overtake him after a slow pit stop for Norris.
Please let Lando pass.
While some fans were quite upset, Oscar said he understood the call.
The decision to swap back was fair. You know, Lando was ahead of me the whole race.
Now it's time for a part of the show I like to call You've Outdone Yourself. Really. Yep. First up, to the oldest person to ever climb to the top of Mount Fuji in Japan. Kokichi here is 102 years old, and despite saying he wanted to give up halfway through, he managed to complete the climb alongside his daughter, granddaughter, and some friends from a local mountain climbing club. This isn't Kokichi's first time making history either. He did the climb back when he was 96 years old, meaning he's only bested his own record. Now to another man who's just smashed his own world record. Strongman Hafthor Bjornsson has just deadlifted 510 kilos, 5 more than the last time he smashed his own record.
Ladies and gentlemen, look upon the mountain!
Just to give you an idea, 510 kilos is about half the weight of a small car or Sumatran rhino, if you happen to know how heavy those are. And finally, to a hot air balloon festival in Czechia, a country which is also known as the Czech Republic. More than 80 balloons took to the skies for the event, making it the largest gathering of balloons in the country's history. Well, that's all from us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.